Hey everyone, so it's a very early morning here in Toronto. You could probably barely see me, which is unfortunate. As it turns out, my camera is failing to recognize my face. As it turns out, today is the first day of GO service to Hamilton. How exciting. As it turns out though, the young subway is not running, which means that to make my 6:45 train this morning, I have to take the night bus. For the first time ever. It is currently 4:30 a.m. and I'm really hoping I don't miss my bus. It's up there, but if I miss it, that's going to be a 30-minute wait that I really don't want to have. And I probably shouldn't be filming right now. I should be running to the stop, but it's all for the video, right? Not really, but yeah, subway closures suck. Night bus should be an interesting experience. In all my years of living in Toronto, I've never taken it. So let's see how this goes.
So, as you heard in the intro, this last weekend I got up nice and early, well, I stayed up all night actually, and caught my first ever TTC night bus service to head down to Union Station for the 6:45 departure to Hamilton. The first ever in the new daily hourly service from Union to West Harbour GO station just outside of downtown Hamilton. Now, as for the night bus service, it was surprisingly good. The headways for the routes I took were every 15 or 30 minutes, and the service from Yonge and Skeels all the way down to Union Station was impressively fast, especially when compared to the travel time for buses at any other time. There were also a surprising number of buses out on the street.
So I'm currently at Union Station in downtown Toronto. The night bus was an experience, to say the least. It was pretty frequent and pretty comfortable, but now I'm downtown. I'll just pan around here. As you can see, it's looking pretty nice. Got the CN Tower in the background. Let's see if I can adjust and pan up to that. It's right up there. It looks very nice. But yeah, I'm gonna go wait for my train. The first train to Hamilton. Should be pretty exciting. Let's do that.
Once I arrived at Union Station, I walked around a bit and then settled down in the new Bay Concourse, which I covered in a video recently. Once my train arrived, I got ready to board. Things were surprisingly busy for 6:45 on a Saturday, but we were off on time, and despite the train being an all-stop local service, the trip felt quite quick. It's actually quite impressive how quickly GO trains can get in and out of stations. A short while into the ride, after passing Exhibition Station, we were running at high speed parallel to the Gardiner Expressway, one of my favorite sections with trains running parallel to car traffic. Further on, we arrived at Port Credit, which was clearly under construction with the addition of the new tramway on Hurontario Street with a new semi-underground platform at Port Credit. I also want to make a point to mention that we passed a surprising number of other Lakeshore West trains heading eastbound, and we were also passed by an express service at one point. After that, the station seemed to fly by very quickly as we made our way to Aldershot. Once we passed Aldershot, the track seemed to be in noticeably worse shape, with the train bobbing and shaking substantially more than it had for the first part of the journey. If you're unfamiliar, Metrolinx, the agency in charge of GO, owns the corridor from Union all the way to Burlington, where it switches over to CN, Canadian National Freight ownership. All-day 30-minute service and lots of other services terminated Aldershot despite this, but in the long term, Burlington should be the endpoint for electrification and a lot of the frequent GO RER service. After leaving Aldershot, it was a surprisingly quick trip into Hamilton. The views are absolutely beautiful over the lake, and you pass a number of freight facilities as well as Bayview Junction, which is a tightly constrained section of track adjacent to Highway 403, which crosses the Desjardins Canal. At this point, CP and CN trains all cross at a single point, and Metrolinx had to work specifically with CN to add infrastructure to enable the hourly service they're operating. The CP line, which splits off south of Bayview Junction, actually leads to the station in downtown Hamilton, and may also see some degree of regular service in the future. If you're interested in knowing how I see that working, let me know in a comment down below. Arriving at West Harbour GO, we had made good time with a travel time of roughly 70 minutes from Union Station.
Hamilton! We are here at West Harbour GO. Very exciting. I'm gonna get back on my train now.
We did not have a ton of time though, as I had to get home to release my Tokyo Rapid Transit Explained video, and this was via the same train, which lays over for about 10 minutes before heading back to Union. West Harbour is a really nice station, and I'll be back for more videos in the future. Unfortunately, the tracks still aren't tied into the main line, and so services further on to Niagara can't make a stop here and add another connection point, but that is supposedly coming very soon. After stepping off to tap off and back on, and then back onto the train, the doors closed and we're headed back to Toronto. I must say this service really excites me a ton. If you live in Toronto without a car, you now have a reliable and very comfortable option on a regular basis every single day to get to Hamilton and vice versa. This will only get better with better Hamilton Street Railway transit connections and the eventual tramway through the city, which will allow riders to get over to McMaster University. There are also transit-oriented developments planned for the space around West Harbour GO, which will make the location even nicer. Of course, that will be a pretty compelling option for those working in Toronto a few days a week, and taking the Lakeshore West line will actually get you downtown faster than other transit in much of Toronto and the surrounding cities. As we headed past a freight train on our way back to Union, I thought a lot about what service like this would mean for the future of the GTHA. With hourly counter-peak service up the Barrie and Stouffville lines, and eventually hourly service up to Kitchener, you'll be able to cross the GTHA surprisingly quickly and affordably by transit on very comfortable GO trains. I can only imagine what faster and more frequent services towards the core will do for our transit system. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.